is Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, October 21st. We're finishing the Sadhana Bhakti chapter. And this is a conclusion of the description of Sambandha Anuga Raganuga Bhakti, verse 308, first division, chapter 2. Pati Putra Surit Bratri Pitrivan Maitravad Dharim Yadyayanti Sadod Yuktas Tebhyo Piha Namo Namaha. This is from Narayana Vyuha, quoted by Rupa Goswami. I pay my respects repeatedly to those who constantly and eagerly meditate upon the Lord as their husband, son, well-wisher, brother, friend, or father. These are all relationships. It's called Sambandha. So Rupa Goswami has had a brief discussion of this practice of Raganuga Bhakti, Sambandha Nuga. And one example of a carpenter in Hastinapur worshipped a Gopal deity as his son, and he was elevated to the spiritual world to become Vatsalya Bhav with Krishna Gopal. So to offer respects to such devotees who practice this type of Raganuga Bhakti and Sambandha Nuga, he's citing a verse from Narayana Vyuha Stava, which is a book of prayers. And he's closing the chapter by saying, I offer respects. Who am I? I am Rupa Goswami. I am Rupa Manjari. I am in Kinkari Bhav. I'm in Madhura Bhav. But I have respect for them, and it's wonderful. Jiva Goswami gives a commentary, because the word is there, Pati Putra Surid Bratri. Pati is husband, Putra is son, Surid means friend, and Bratri means brother, I think so. Yeah. Sounds like brother, doesn't it? Bratri. Means bratri means brat, brother. So he says the word sarit means unbiased, impartial benefactor. And then it says the maitra is a person, is a co-playmate, someone plays with, like a friend, like Saka. Right? Last verse 309. Krishna tad bhakta karunya matra lavaika hetuka. Pushti margatya kashtit yam raganugochate. So he's talked about Raganuga Bhakti. He talked about Vaidhi Sadhana, the 64 limbs of devotion we've covered previous years. Then he talked about Raganuga Sadhana. There's two branches of Raganuga Sadhana. Kamanuga Raganuga Sadhana, which is Madhur Bhav, and Sakhi Bhav, and of course it includes Mandri Bhav, Bhavalasrati. Then he talked about the second division of Raganuga Bhakti called Sambandha Nuga, to become Krishna's friend, or to become Krishna's mother, father, or servant, like Raktak and Patrak, or Subal and Sridham, or Yashoda and Nanda. And then he's offered obeisances to such relational devotees who have a relationship of love. And then he's saying, then someone might ask the question, well, how does one qualify for either one of these types of Raganuga Bhakti? To become a follower of Sambandha Nuga or Kamanuga? He said, well, guess what? Krishna Karuna, Bhakta Karuna. Karuna means compassion. Krishna's compassion or devotee's compassion. Labhaika hetuka. The hetu, the cause, the benefit is labhya, attaining this. The mercy of Krishna and his devotees is the only cause of attaining Raganuga Bhakti. So there you have it. Some people call the path of Raganuga Bhakti Pushti Marg, because Pushti means nourishing. Of course, Vallabhacharya Sampradaya is called Pushti Margis. So the only cause is Krishna and his devotees' mercy to attain. Because what happens, if you get Krishna's mercy, or if you get devotees' mercy, then that mercy comes in the form of greed. Lobham haya shraddha. Right? You have faith in these, you have faith in Brijvasis, you have faith in Rasikata, and you have faith in Rasik Vaishnavas. And you have great greed. Lovamaya Shraddha means faith full of greed for these things and for this attainment and for this goal or this sadhya. So that greed, that lobha, that's what mercy means. Oh, give me the mercy, give me the mercy. When you associate with Krishna and his Braj Sarup, Bhagavan Sri Krishna Vrindavan, Nanda Nanda, in Sakiras, and you associate with Krishna in Vatsalya Ras, and you associate with Krishna in Madhura Ras, then, and you're praying to him and his associates in that same rasa, then you may get some greed comes from them. Greed comes lobha, or greed comes as a gift from Krishna and his parikaras in the Leelas in Braj. And this greed comes from the blessings of a Rasik Vaishnava, who himself has lobha. By associating with him and hearing his Gita and serving him or her, whoever it may be, then their mercy, giving the mercy will come, then greed will enter into your heart and say, oh, something has awoken in me by associating with this devotee. I become greedy for these topics. I become deeply interested in these things. So that's the proof of the mercy. And his commentary on this verse, Mukunda Das Goswami, he says, in Raganuga Bhakti, the supreme cause of awakening a craving, because lobha means greed, it also means craving. Craving means, like, it's English, it's just some English word for most people, but craving means kind of, okay, greed, but craving is like accelerated greed. Oh, he's greedy, he's a greedy guy. No, he's greedy for food. Oh, he's craving for food. It means he's really mad after eating. So this is it. If we want craving for this path, the supreme cause of awakening a craving for this path is the grace and compassion of Krishna and his devotees alone. Only the mercy of Krishna and his devotees can awaken an intense longing in the heart to follow in the footsteps of the Ragatmika Bhaktas, the Nityasiddha Parikars of Braj. There is absolutely no other cause for awakening Raganuga Bhakti. Then he's talking about bhava here. He says, bhavas may awaken in an offenseless person upon seeing Krishna's murti or a painting. Even then, a deep hankering, this lobha or greed, to follow the path of Raganuga Bhakti is very rare. Only attained by Krishna alone and his devotees. This is very interesting. Because Mukunda Das is saying that if someone is offenseless, which in Kali Yuga is practically impossible to find, because one type of offense is jiva aparad, to offend jivas. Hey, mosquito, like this, there's so much jiva himsa, even done by so-called innocent people, killing flies and insects, this, that, the other thing. So people by nature in Kali Yuga are violent and offensive. So if by chance there was an offenseless person, clean-hearted offenseless person, he may come and see a murti of Krishna or Radha, or Nanda and Yashoda, or the coward boys. And he may experience some symptom. He said bhavas may awaken in an offenseless person. Some deep sentiments, very deep sentiments. But those bhavas are not synonymous with lobha, with greed, or intense craving to follow the Ragatmika Bhaktas. He sees a murti and something happens. Sometimes that happens, People come and they say, oh, Krishna's so beautiful, and they cry. It happens. But that doesn't, so then they cry and go home and then eat dinner and go to sleep or whatever. But the greed is something that comes from inside. It's not that you see something outside, then that comes inside and creates some kind of movements of the heart, which you experience as symptoms of bhava. But actually, it's a movement that's not started from outside, inside. It's a movement that starts inside your heart by hearing, by the blessings of the great Vaishnavas and Krishna himself. those blessings enter deep into your heart, and then from inside your heart comes out. It's expressed as greed. I really want to attain, I really want to follow these devotees. I really want to become like them, want to serve like them. So this is third wave of nectar devotion, Bhava Bhakti. There's the outline of Bhava Bhakti. Begins. In this chapter we'll find a definition of Bhava Bhakti. Rupa Goswami writes in such a systematic way, although it's somewhat of a summary in some ways, because we're discussing his book for a few years and we're not even halfway through. But if you look at, this is the summary of the entire chapter, it's everything sequential and systematic and logical. He's a real scientist. He's a science, he teaches the science of devotion. I think that's what Prabhupada calls Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu. The science of devotion, is that what it's called? The subtitle, Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, the science of devotional service, isn't it? So there's a definition of Bhava Bhakti, there's the cause, okay, here's the definition, this is what it is. Oh, well, how does it happen? The next causes of Bhava Bhakti. You can come to Bhava Bhakti through the path of Vaidhi. Vaidhi sadhana leads to Vaidhi, leads to that type of Bhava Bhakti, leads to that type of prema, which leads to Vaikuntha. Then, from sadhana, you can go to, from Raganuga sadhana, from sadhana you go to Vaidhi sadhana. Cause of Bhava Bhakti is Vaidhi sadhana or Raganuga sadhana. So, there's two causes, sadhana and the second cause is mercy. You can attain Bhava Bhakti through sadhana, Vaidhi sadhana, or Raganuga sadhana. Now, that's a more common and general way, or you can attain Bhava Bhakti by the mercy of whom? The mercy of Krishna and the mercy of devotees, which we just heard. So how do you get the mercy of Krishna? I don't see Krishna. I can't hear class from him or have him embrace me or touch me or speak to me. But it says you can get mercy from Krishna from his words, from his presence, or from within the heart. So we can attain Bhava Bhakti by the mercy of Krishna in the heart, which is rare. We can attain Bhava Bhakti by the mercy of Krishna's personal presence, and then mercy of devotee. Then, all right, now somehow by mercy or sadhana I've attained bhava, I've come to the level of Bhava Bhakti. Well, what are some of the symptoms or what are some of the expressions of this type of sentiment, these feelings of bhava, and this intense bhakti and devotion? Is there some indication? How do I know? Like, how do I know when I have a fever? Well, you put a thermometer in your mouth and you read it, it says 105. Acha, I have a fever. I'm hot. So there's some symptom of a disease, fever. So the anubhavas, these are the actions or the outward symptoms. Anubhav. Anu means following. Anukram, following step after step. Anubhav. Bhav means what follows the bhav. You have the bhav, and something awakens the bhav, that's called udipan, and lamban. Udipana lamban or udipan. Vibhava lamban or vibhav udipan. And then that stimulates or excites the heart. Then once the bhava is excited, then what follows anubhav? What follows that bhav? Something happens, the heart's excited. Now does that excited heart affect the mind? Does it affect the body? And what are the effects of the body and mind? So they become the sanchari bhavas or the anubhavas. So the anubhavas are the ensuing actions or the outward 9 symptoms of the devotional state of bhava. And then there's something that's not bhav, which is called, like something that resembles bhav, is called ratyabhas, the 4th category, which is resemblance to bhav. And there's 2 kinds, pratibimba and chaya. Then there's the destruction of these, and then the conclusion. So this is the outline of the chapter, and I guess We'll actually start this chapter tomorrow.